Hello, everyone. Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, we're going to be talking about the latest episode of Interview with the Vampire. Don't be afraid, just start the tape. This show stars Jacob Anderson as Louis, Sam Reed as Lestat, Eric Bogosian as Daniel Malloy, the interviewer, Delaney Hales as Claudia, Assad Saman as Armand, and we have in this episode Luke Brandon Field as a young Daniel Malloy. Let me tell you, this was a very intense episode, very revealing episode, and I think it sets us up really interestingly for the, I believe, last two episodes of the season. I think there's only going to be 14, which would make sense as this is part two of the season of, I guess, of the series. Wow, what an episode! Very intense performances. I think Luke Brandon Field really filled the shoes of a young Daniel Malloy. Right, I think they mentioned in the after show, like the little insider of the episode, that Luke would actually follow Eric Bogosian a little bit and kind of look at his material and try to get some of those mannerisms and trying to work them back to the time in his youth. So I think that's very interesting. This is a very quiet episode compared to everything we've seen so far. Almost a kind of a bottle episode, right? But it's set in two different bottles, if you will. So we'll talk about that when I get into spoilers in a second. Overall, this season continues to be outstanding. The other shoe is about to drop very soon because we know the overarching details of what's going to happen. We just don't know all the exact details what are going to happen. I feel like we're going to get our hearts broken for anybody that is rooting for these people to have, or these vampires to have kind of a happy ending. I think we may see somebody come back with a vengeance. I don't know. We'll see. Um, all right, let's get into spoilers. So if you haven't seen the episode, make sure to go check it out. Come back. Leave me some questions in the chat. Leave me some of your comments. I think I miss a lot of the stuff that happens. Like I usually watch this, take some notes, then rewatch it later. But after the review, because I want to make sure to just give a fresh impression in the video. So in this episode, we continue the interview with Louis as Armand brings a young man shows up to be hunted. Now, obviously, he doesn't know this. He's just offered a lot of cash to evade Armand all the way to for a time to a specific location. So Armand still sets up these hunts, which is very interesting on how they pick these individuals. I think at this point, Daniel is questioning really everything, especially because of all the flashbacks in his head, all the stuff that's been going on. And that's what this episode mostly is. We see a lot of it in present time during the interview. We see a lot of it in the 70s in that apartment during the first interview, which is very interesting because really we're seeing Louis and Daniel in two different eras. Uh, we get a flashback to the 70s, and I think, they mentioned this in the Insider, but they really took a lot of care and detail to go into like making sure that the 70s look authentic. And I think just aesthetically, I think it does. Just based on like other documentaries and stuff that I've seen from the 70s. So I think that was very interesting. Louis reveals himself finally to be a vampire during the first interview, and they've been drinking. Daniel's been doing drugs and stuff as kind of Louis brings him back to the apartment, which they detail on how this is a thing that he constantly does. He will bring young men to the apartment where they'll have sex, and then he'll eat them at the end of the at the end of their time together, which is wild. Wow, what a hobby, I guess. So yeah, Daniel learns that Louis is a vampire, which of course at first he doesn't believe, and then Louis kind of rushes him and shows him his fangs, and like the mood of the episode completely changes after that. Um, we also see that Louis attacked Daniel like after this full interview, which was very intense because even as a young journalist, Daniel was he was very smart. He was very agile when it came to getting the truth and getting to the bottom of things. Obviously, I think we've seen him as a more seasoned veteran reporter in the present. So they they continue to argue and kind of fight, and then they get through the interview. But finally, Louis kind of loses it, and Daniel's asking questions that maybe Louis finds disrespectful or like that really push him over the edge. and he is about to kill him. In the first interview, Louis lunges at a young Daniel Malloy. He's about to kill him, and Armand shows up to stop it, and that's kind of where we see. And it's all. I really like the vampire effects here because it all happens in these little flashes, where they very efficiently show you like Armand is very powerful. He's very strong. He's very quick. So from this, the protagonist in the '70s switches over to Armand pretty much. Like both Daniel and Louis in the future are trying to figure out what happened in the past. Uh, they don't know. They don't have both of their memories have been altered. Now we do see that Louis gets into an argument in 1973 with Armand, and he actually walks out into the sunlight. But Armand is able to bring him back in and save him before he fully bursts into flames. I guess it depends on how strong of a vampire you are too, as to how quickly the sun will consume you. So yeah, Louis all burnt up. He's recovering. He's delirious. He's hurt. And Armand takes this time to try to figure out, Daniel, like why did Louis pick this guy? What makes him so interesting? Because during their argument, Louis mentioned that he finds Armand boring. Obviously, Armand did not take this very lightly. He's very petty. He's very jealous. So yeah, I think we move on to the part where Armand just he holds a young Daniel for days while Louis is kind of recovering and burnt up, and he's torturing him. He's talking to him. He's caring for him. Like it's a whole journey. But then at the end, um, Armand's main conflict was that why did Louis not talk about him, Armand, during the interview, the first interview? He listened to the tape and it was mainly talking about Lestat, about Claudia, about pretty much every other aspect of Louis' life except Armand. And, they've been partners for such a long time. Why would he not come up? Um, we also see that Armand can still communicate with Lestat in the '70s, which was so I don't know, obviously as a new viewer to this, I don't know like Lestat's timeline. So I don't know like what's he been up to, what's he been doing ever since. We don't know where he is even after the end of season 1. So, but yeah, now the kind of table is flipped where Louis stops Armand from killing Daniel. They kind of set him up as like to be found in his drug den, and they let him go. Uh, and it's interesting because we see flashes to the present where Daniel and Louis are trying to put all this together. They're kind of now working together to uncover that mystery and try to figure out why did Armand make them both forget all those details. So they actually, as Armand gets back, which is a very nice detail, like the guy he was hunting showed up with like these gaudy sunglasses, and Armand shows up back with them. So just letting the viewer know that he caught him, right? And yeah, Louis and Daniel confront Armand as he gets back. And I think this is, like I said, the other shoe's about to drop. We're about to figure out everything that happened in Paris. We're about to figure out the fate of everyone. And I think we should get in the last episode an update on like the real live Lestat, not the imaginary Lestat that we've been seeing throughout the season, who is now gone after the last episode. So, great stuff. Really enjoying this show. If you watched this episode, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.